So hello, welcome to Behind the Emotion. This is a video series where we are empowering your emotional evolution. And I'm Jade from Jade Sterling Coaching. I'm a positivity coach, a nurse, a counselor, a yoga therapist. I'm a wife and a mum. I bundle all of my skills and experience into these videos just for you. I also provide individual coaching packages and group classes, online events, retreats, all of which support you to move into the best version of yourself that you possibly can. And today I wanted to talk about building the strength of calmness. So I wanted to start by actually really unpacking those three key words in the title: building strength, calmness. After going to the online English dictionary and finding basic definitions for those words, this is what I came up with. Building, the act or the process of constructing or establishing. Strength, the capacity to resist strain or stress. Calmness, an unruffled state of mind. Building strength, calmness. The act or the process of constructing or establishing the capacity to resist strain or stress with an unruffled state of mind. I thought that is such a perfect description of what we're working towards and what we're trying to achieve. So how do we do that? How do we move forward into this state towards this goal? What do we have to do? What does it look like? So let's go back to the word strength, which I feel is the most active of all of these words. They're all very active words. There's a lot of activity in the definition of the word strength, the capacity to resist strain or stress. So in more recent times, we've been hearing a lot about strength training for the physical body. What does that look like? What does that do? Well, as far as I'm aware, the aim of strength training is to build muscle. And we do this by someone very deliberately and consciously challenging the muscles to deal with higher and higher levels of tension and weight and resistance. And this process actually causes damage and injury to the muscle fibers. And then after a brief period of relaxation, the body repairs the damaged fibers by fusing themselves together, and this increases the size and the mass of the muscles. This is very interesting to me. We challenge the muscles of our body by adding strain. We consciously damage the muscles, and then after a brief period, we choose to release the tension, and then the muscles grow bigger in size and mass and ultimately stronger in structure. So we do this very deliberately with our bodies. And I started to wonder if we could ever think about being able to do this with our emotions, to build up our emotional mental health and well-being. What does that look like? So I think it's probably helpful too. First of all, let's view our emotions as a tool. Our emotions are the dumbbell weights that we need to strengthen our mental muscles. And I think that if we do our emotions over and over and over and over again, we get stronger and we get better at actually experiencing our emotions. Certainly my observation and my own personal experience that the more that we feel our emotions, the more we do them over and over again, the better we get at them. So once we do this, then the periods of rest in between the strain become longer. And this, over time, is how we build the strength of calmness. Ultimately, building up our mental and emotional fitness and strength really works exactly the same way as lifting dumbbell weights for our physical body. We're working our emotions as strength training for our mind. So notice here that I'm not actually advocating to stop feelings, stop emotions, or get rid of certain emotions that might not be serving us. The key actually is to experience our emotions fully and learn how they can serve us exactly the way that they are right now without changing a thing. So you might ask why we would want to consciously create stress and tension in our bodies on the inside in order to move forward into a better version of ourselves. It seems like a valid question to ask, but that is a question that you would ask when you're only looking at part of the whole equation. Because we do this with our physical bodies all the time. We create the tension, we cause the damage, and then we let it go. Our body repairs ourselves, and then we feel better about ourselves and our growth and development. So the first part of strength training for the body is the strain. And then the next step is the period of relaxation, and that always depends on how long you've been holding the tension. And then the final step the body does on its own, and that's the repair of the muscle to increase its size and subsequent strength. Now, physically, this is not always an enjoyable experience. We often feel the effects in our bodies for a few days afterwards, but ultimately we do it for the longer term benefits because we understand that a fit and healthy body outweighs the effort and the discomfort that we experience at the time of the physical activity. Now, I am definitely generalizing here. Of course, there's people who don't choose to engage in this kind of activity and won't reap the rewards of health benefits from doing that kind of physical activity, or maybe aren't even capable. I would still just like to note that all of you people out there, even if you're not doing strength training, you're perfectly worthy of inhaling and exhaling every single day and living on this planet with everybody else. There's not actually any judgment here about your own health and wellness lifestyle choices. Just like all health outcomes, we want the best for ourselves, and science has shown us that healthy physical activity results in a healthy physical body. So this video really is highlighting the most optimal mental and emotional health activity in order to reap the benefits of a healthy mental and emotional body. It's not one size fits all though. But I think you'll find it helpful no matter what state of fitness that you're in. When we are dealing with situations, when we feel emotionally stressed or strained, what should we do? Now, it might take a while before you actually see an emotional strain as an opportunity to exercise your mental and emotional health muscles. But until you can, let's go through an exercise that you can do with any kind of emotion, because it's important to acknowledge the pleasant and the not so pleasant emotions. When we feel more of one, we can feel more of the other. And actually, it's so beneficial to our mental and emotional health and development. We'll talk more about this. So let's just say an angry thought arises and you feel anger. What do? You feel it. You feel it all. You recognize it. You name it. In one word, what are you feeling? If what you're feeling is a sentence, that's a thought, not a feeling. Anger is a feeling. Rage is a feeling. Despair is a feeling. I want to go and punch that guy in the face is a thought. It's not actually a feeling. So, just like you would hold your dumbbell for your physical strength training, and you hold it and you pull it towards you, you would feel the burn. That's what we need to do with our emotion. This is anger. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to feel the burn. Now, often we don't know what to do next. I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more as we go on, but it seems very instinctual that when we are angry and we're holding the emotion, we don't like to feel that way. We want to get rid of this feeling. And so it's not a dumbbell because if it was a dumbbell, you probably wouldn't throw it across the room like you might do with your anger or your emotions as they come up. It's actually not the dumbbell's fault that you are physically experiencing a burn. And so if you pick it up, if it's a physical dumbbell for your physical muscles, you might just choose to put it down because it's too heavy. If you threw it across the room, you probably hurt someone. You might even hurt yourself. So when it comes to your anger, you can hold it and feel the burn, but instead of just feeling the burn and then throwing it all around the room, you can actually choose instead to put it down. This is an emotion that you have chosen to pick up and experience. It doesn't need to be directed or aimed at anyone or anything. It's your feeling, it's your emotion. You can choose to put it down. So once you have identified your emotion and let it move through you and feel it fully, the next step is to move to that moment of relaxation. before you respond to the outside world. And you remember that that moment of rest depends on how long you've been holding the tension for. Now, what this looks like generally for most of us, we do the first part really good, right? We pick up our anger and we hold it, no problem, and we feel the burn, and we hold it, we hold it, we hold it. But this is usually where we get stuck, right? We get stuck between that moment of feeling the strain and the pressure and the moment where we release the tension and we soften and we allow the motion to just flow through the body and for our body to repair itself. We do tend to throw our emotional dumbbells around the room. There is actually a place in between our feelings and our actions where choice exists. And it's in that place, it's in that gap where we can access that conscious choice by slowing it down. And in that moment of slowing it down, we ask ourselves 2 questions in the heat of the moment. So the first question we've already looked at, what emotion is this? We actually deliberately ask this question, what emotion is this? Name it. 1 word, identify it, bring it closer to you instead of trying to resist it. Have a look at it, get a good look at it. What is it? Name it. It's 1 word. Then once you're able to really understand what emotion you've identified, you can ask yourself the second question, what's good about this? Now you're truly asking a question. You're not just making a statement disguised as a question. What's good about this? It's a statement. What's good about this? Now, first, when you try and implement these things into your emotional stresses and strains, you're not going to be very strong-minded. Your mental muscles are not used to picking up the weight of your emotions and holding them without getting rid of them as soon as possible. And you'll probably continue to throw them around the room and possibly fall down onto the floor for a little while. You might not want to get back up. But if you've never trained with dumbbell weights before for your physical muscles, and I gave you a 2-kilo weight straight away, you might actually drop it to the floor and complain, oh, this is too heavy, I'll never lift this with ease. But as a coach, if I said to you, if you lift this 2-kilo weight every day for 7 days for just 1 minute, up and down for 1 minute for 7 days, then you would find that you would become stronger. And each week you could increase your time to 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Eventually you would realize, firstly, that you're doing it, and secondly, that you actually feel pretty good lifting them, that you've conquered them, and you probably could keep going. I mean, look, physical exercise is just the world's cheapest, cleanest, safest, and highest high that there is, thanks to the endorphins that are released in our body, and also because there is a sense of accomplishment that our brains acknowledge as progress towards self-improvement and self-development. Actually not any different with our mind. So when I first ask you to just become aware of your emotion, write it down if you can, because writing actually helps the brain to process, helps the brain to slow it down and process what you're experiencing a little bit better. We don't always have the luxury to do that in the time. Over time, if you can write it down, do so. But if you can just become aware of the emotion and ask the question, what emotion is this? Now, initially, you might just scream at me that, I'm experiencing anger. I know what anger's like. I don't need to write it down. I don't need to pause. That's happened before, But as a good coach would actually say to you, well done. Yes, that is anger. Good. You found the emotion. Fantastic. Well done. You're doing it. Right. Now, what's good about this? What's good about this moment? And again, you might not necessarily accept that question with the peace and the calmness that you will build up towards, but it's about becoming aware first and foremost, and that slows the process down for you to make that available to you. So, a way that we're able to access our moment to soften and just relax is actually by using a technique that we work on during times when we're not stressed and we're not feeling the tension. So we actually need to work on a baseline of your nervous system, because sometimes it actually doesn't matter how much emotional weight that you lift. If you're already exhausted, right, it's just going to make you more exhausted rather than make you fitter. If you're lifting weights and you're already exhausted, you need to take a break and you need to come back to baseline to then work towards lifting them and moving through them. The same actually works with your mind and your emotions. So we need to work on your nervous system as a whole, a little bit every day, just to bring your baseline down to an equilibrium where you're not operating from an already heightened emotional state. So my favorite activity to do this is, and you can do this right now while you're watching this video, just do it every day. So get out your mobile phone. I don't have mine close by, otherwise I would too. And set an alarm. Now I'm just using your mobile phone because most of us carry our phones on us nowadays. If you don't carry your phone, set an alarm on something that will go off as a reminder to you 3 times a day. If you don't have an alarm available to you, I used to actually write on the inside of my arm things that I wanted to remember so that I will refer to them during the day. That's an idea too. So this gets to work on your nervous system by, when your alarm goes off 3 times a day, so set it at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. When the alarm goes off, wherever you are, stop. Inhale, in through your nose, smell the flowers. Exhale, out through the mouth, blow out the candle. Do this 3 times and then move on to the rest of your day. This actually gets to work on your nervous system when it's not heightened or feeling stress or strain. It becomes habitual. It brings you back to a balance, and your baseline of your emotional state is dialed down. And eventually, with the support of a good coach, you will start to slow things down. You will feel your big emotions coming. You'll recognize the feeling. You'll be able to find the space to identify it and to name it. And if you have the opportunity to write it down in just one word, then you will be able to hold the emotion, feel it fully, feel the burn, and then put it down and implement your relaxation response, which I recommend as the inhale, smell the flowers, exhale, blow out the candle. Then you're asking the question, what's good about this? You'll find the space to ask that question. You don't actually need to answer that question. I think it's really important to state. Just having the moment and the capacity to ask the question. We will look at reflective exercises later that support you to actually change your neural pathways and shift your longer term behavior. But the important thing here is to get curious. That's interesting. What's good about this? What could possibly be good about this? And asking the question. It's curiosity that is the bridge in the gap between your feelings and your actions. And as I said before, that's where choice lives. You can make conscious choices, and conscious actions can be accessed and expressed with intention, even during times where you're feeling very strong and very heavy emotions. So the more that you feel your feelings, again and again, the more you pull them towards you, hold them, you'll get stronger and stronger, and the pain and the effort that you will experience from feeling your emotions, when you can let them go, your body will repair itself, and you will enjoy that same pain of effort and strength that you experience from when you have physical exercise, and that you feel the benefits that you will feel from actually growing and growing stronger in the calmness that is present between these times of emotional strain. The more you practice. Oh, I feel like I've just done a workout. I hope that came through loud and clear. So look, my final message to you, as always, is to keep it simple, keep it soft, and remember to exhale. You're exactly where you need to be. Thanks for being here today. I'll see you next week.